with Ati, what he was saying about, and you were teaching about how going back or mixing the truth with lies, my brain went directly to Revelations when he talks about lukewarm and I will vomit you. Is that a good connection to?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's probably very much a lot of what's going on. When he says those that are lukewarm, he said, I wish you were hot or cold, but you're kind of, this mixed mess. And, it's kind of like when he says the dog going back to its vomit. He says, I will vomit you out. He doesn't like us to be in this mixed mess. He says, I lay before you life and death. Pick one. Don't pick both. Okay? Pick one. And so if you're cold, he can work with you in a certain way and wake you up and everything else. See, think about it this way. If you're hot, great. If you're cold, I can kind of turn up the heat on you and then wake you up a little bit. What's the problem with being in the middle? You're comfortable. You think you've arrived. You think you have what you need. So why would you be interested in anything else? Okay, you've got that complacency problem. I'm happy, I'm comfortable. That's hard for him to work with because now he's got to destroy all that and take you out of your comfort zone to get your attention. See, if you're cold, you already know that life's terrible and you're already suffering and you're miserable and you're looking for something. And if you're hot, you already figured out what's right and you're going for it with all you've got. Okay? It's that one in the middle, that's hard. And see, that's the problem is that people, you came out of Christianity where guess what happened in Christianity? Like Ati said, most of you probably have the same story. Well, I started out as a this, and then we went to over here, became a that, and then went over here, became a this. And some of you have 6 or 7 of those. So some of you have already been a Baptist and a Pentecostal and a Methodist and a this and a that. You've been like 6 different things. Why? Because you kept looking for, at some point when things didn't work where you were, for something that would work. So finally, you get to the place where you go, and you were there for a little while. If you were there for a little while, it's because it became comfortable. Finally, when you stopped someplace, it became comfortable. It was meeting enough of your needs or whatever it was that you were doing. Well, guess what? When he finally disturbs your peace and you come out of Christianity and then you come into Torah Observant community, it's easy enough to fall into a Baptist Messianic church or we'll call it a Messa Baptist or a Messa Costal or a Messa whatever, right? So now it's still that, but it's on Saturday. It's still that, but you're eating differently. It's still that, whatever that is, Methodist, Baptist, Catholic, whatever Christian flavor, right? It's still all of that, but it just meets on a different day and eats differently. Different holidays or holy days, right? That's it. All the other doctrinal stuff is still charismatic or Baptist or whatever it is. And so you can get comfortable very quickly thinking you've now finally left the lies and now you're in the truth when still you're in a mess because now you're in the lukewarm place. You have some truth and a whole bunch of lies with it and now but you think you've arrived. See, that's why Christianity and all these other mixed messes are to be loathed because they're making people feel they're where they need to be when they're not. Okay? And that's something to loathe. Not the people, the lie that has been sold to them, loathing the falsehood. Not the people, okay? The system that convinced you that you're in the right place now. I'm glad you left that church, now you're with us. Now you're in the right place. When really it's just a slightly different bent and twist on the same falsehood. And you get that the same thing in the Messianic, Hebrew roots, whatever you call us, the same thing, right? You have a lot of groups out there that it's basically church on Saturday. They do not understand the beware false prophets thing. They're all singing Jesus' name in their places where they are. All right? Their doctrinal positions they're still rapture, they're still whatever they believe going to heaven or hell. Whatever it is that was still Christian thinking, they're still doing it. Okay? They're just doing it on Saturday they gave up maybe Christmas and Easter, but they're doing the holy days, whatever. Some of the mechanics have been changed. Okay, that's the easy part. They're changing the mechanics. But are they changing the mindset and the halakha, the walk, other than the mechanics? No, mostly not. Okay? And you know that. That's what like the people on there who are watching who say, I know, Rabbi, I know I called you, and the only place that's in my town is, basically Christianity on Saturday. All right? And I get that. That's frustrating. That's why we do this, to at least give you something, to make this available. That's why we stream. That's why we have the cameras and the whole thing. Because we know that this doesn't exist everywhere. It's hard.